What's up, boys? Back with another power rankings video for week 4. If you didn't watch last week's power rankings video, week 3, basically the way this works is this is based off of how good the teams are playing through the previous weeks going into week 4. I will be ranking top 10 teams, in my opinion, going into week 4, starting from number 10, going all the way up to number 1. Shortening the list here instead of doing all 32 teams so that I can make this video a little bit quicker. Coming in at number 10 here, I got the Lions. I couldn't put the Vikings here in my top 10, which, spoilers, Vikings are not in my top 10. The Vikings can't get the ball to their playmakers like the Lions can. The Lions do a really good job when it comes to passing the ball and getting it in the hands of people like Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, even people like Jamal Williams. The Lions are really good at being able to get the ball in playmakers' hands, whereas the Vikings can't get it done. Dalvin Cook is struggling. Justin Jefferson only had 6 targets. 3 of those being receptions on 14 yards. Absolutely terrible, especially against a bad secondary. Kirk Cousins finally playing like Kirk Cousins we know and love. He's just not a good quarterback, and the Vikings will be good if Kirk Cousins plays good. That's literally all it comes down to. That being said, the Vikings defense did struggle really hard, not getting any pressure on Jared Goff. The Lions, the reason why they're in number 10, top 2 in the league when it comes to total points scored. 3rd in the league when it comes to rushing the football. 5.9 yards per attempt. 170 rushing yards per game. 5 total rushing touchdowns through the previous weeks. And Jared Goff, still playing pretty solid for Jared Goff. Has 748 passing yards and 7 total touchdowns, tied 5th in the league. Their passing game is really, really solid. And if they keep up this offense, and the defense can keep up with them because their pass rush is really, really solid, the Lions could have a really deep playoff run. At number 9, I gotta go with the Chargers here. Yes, the Chargers did have a really bad game against the Jaguars, but it's not all to blame for the Chargers because injuries were a massive part of this loss for the Chargers. Losing Rashawn Slater for the rest of the year. Joey Bosa had a really bad groin injury in the first half of the game. They're saying it's pretty serious. Jalen Guyton also out with the torn ACL. Who knows how long he'll be out for, and he's a big part of their offense when they go 5 wide. Just really rough for the Chargers when it came to injuries, and a big reason why they lost this game. Also, JC Jackson didn't play. But that being said, it is very inexcusable how this is one of the better teams in the entire league, and you get absolutely shafted that hard by the Jaguars offense. And Justin Herbert also not playing a great game. Threw an interception. A lot of dropped INTs for the Jaguars too. A lot of missed potential there. I still think the Chargers are really, really good. But now it comes down to, is that O-line going to hold up when it comes to passing the football without Rashawn Slater? If it doesn't, Justin Herbert's not going to get looks. And if Justin Herbert's not getting looks, your entire team collapses because the Chargers, while being one of the better defenses in the league, rely heavily on Justin Herbert being good because their run game is abysmal right now. Maybe they get Eckler more involved, which they should, but at number 8, I'm putting the Los Angeles Rams here. Defense stepped up big time, putting a ton of pressure on Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray couldn't really do much offensively. Aaron Donald had a sack. Great game for Aaron Donald as well, because like I said, just putting a ton of pressure onto Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray fumbles the football. That being said, that was one of the only turnovers in this game, because this game was a near perfect game, not throwing a single interception for both sides. Running the football for the Rams was really, really solid. Cam Akers had a great game, 12 rushes for 61 yards and a touchdown. Did fumble the ball, which is unfortunate, but still a great game for rushing. And Cooper Kupp had a 20-yard rushing touchdown, so good for him. Skoranek coming out of nowhere. I mean, the Rams looked good in this win against the Cardinals. It's not that hard to be good against the Cardinals right now because their defense just doesn't look good at all. Nothing is clicking for their defense there. They are one of the worst in the passing game and one of the worst in the rushing game. So to say that your defense did good against the Cardinals is kind of a joke. There's still a lot of question marks for the Rams, like the O-line. Matthew Stafford still getting pressured a ton. Got sacked once and had 5 quarterback hits on him. Just not having enough time in the pocket to pass the football, which is why they significantly leaned on the run that game. It all comes down to that O-line. Like, is the O-line going to keep up against good pass rush defenses? And in those previous weeks, you know, even in week 2 against the Falcons, he still struggled to keep a clean pocket. And so because of that, I can't rank them too high, but it's still the Rams with that incredible defense. So I'm going to rank them at number 8 going into week 4. Number 7 here, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you might be wondering, Zach, why do you have the Buccaneers over the Packers? Packers are not on my top 10, by the way. I have the Bucs over the Packers because the Packers offense is tragically terrible and their defense is still pretty mediocre at best. Let's get back to the Bucs here. The Bucs are still the best defense in the league statistically, only allowing 27 total points within these first 3 weeks, which is incredible for that Bucs defense. That being said, it could be a little bit skewed because they're playing weak offenses. Week 1, they play against the Cowboys, who, as we have seen from Monday Night Football in week 3, and just in general for the Cowboys season, is not a good offense. And then they played the Saints in week 2. Jameis having those back injuries, and that offense is still trying to figure itself out. So it's tough to say that this Bucs defense is as incredible as it is playing against weak offenses. But that being said, it's not tough to say that because it's the Bucs defense, which we know is incredibly talented and just filled with too much depth and talent and whatever you want to call it. The Bucs defense is still immaculate. I can't rank them any higher than 7 though. I got to put them in the top 10 because there aren't many teams in the league that I would take over the Bucs. Their offense is a huge question mark. Obviously, Mike Evans didn't play last week. Chris Godwin has only played for a couple of snaps, and Julio Jones was out. Like, it's hard to really pinpoint this offense, and that's what I was struggling with last week as well. The Bucs offense has looked really, really bad these first 3 weeks going into week 4, and also their run game struggled last week against the Packers. You're getting it to guys like Scotty Miller, and you're only putting up 12 points a game. So it's like, can't really rank you any higher than 7, but I'm going to keep them at number 7. At number 6 here, I got the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens look insanely unreal, dude. I mean, I have my notes here, and I wrote this down earlier, but even just looking at it now, Lamar is unreal, man. 218 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 11 rushing attempts on 107 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Lamar is an MVP candidate right now, in my opinion. Lamar looks like the Lamar of old, and he's proving to everyone that he is still that MVP caliber player. Lamar is absolutely insane, and if he keeps it up, this Ravens team is going to be near unstoppable. That being said, I can't put them in the top 5 going into week 4. They haven't really proven themselves as an established team yet. They beat up on the Patriots, who are a very mid team, have a good defense. They play the Dolphins in week 2, get absolutely shafted with that 35-14 comeback, and then in week 1 they play the Jets and destroy them. And you can't rank how good the Ravens are based off of destroying a bad team. It's hard to rank the Ravens right now, but you got to rank them high simply because of how incredible Lamar and that offense looks. Going into week 4, though, playing against the Bills, that's going to be the deciding factor on if this Ravens team is going to be a true deep contender for the playoffs and if they are established as one of the best teams in the league right now. Defensively, the Ravens also look pretty solid. Not a good D-line, but their secondary is top 3 in the league. Without a doubt. Had 3 interceptions against Mac Jones. Kyle Hamilton coming out to be an absolute stud. He was the highest rated player on defense according to PFF last week against the Patriots and had a huge turning point in the game with that fumble on Nelson Agholor. One of the biggest reasons why they won that game. So that secondary looks incredible, and there's not going to be a lot of teams that are going to be able to play up against that since a lot of the offenses in the league are very lackluster, which is crazy to say. Defensively, they're solid, but they haven't played against big teams apart from the Dolphins where they lose. And then offensively, like top 3 in the league, but they haven't played against good defenses apart from the Dolphins where they lose. So it's like, you know, it's hard to rank this Ravens team. That's why I'm not putting them in my top 5, but the Ravens are still incredible. At number 5, it's got to be the Jaguars. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I truly just don't care. The Jaguars are a top 5 team going into week 4 right now. They do have to play the Eagles next week, which is going to be very, very difficult. Jags starting out 2-1. They shut out the Colts. Trevor Lawrence has a perfect game. Then they go into week 3. Absolutely shaft the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence has another perfect game. Trevor Lawrence may be blossoming in front of our own eyes right now, pulling a Joe Burrow like last season. Trevor Lawrence looks absolutely incredible. Also, the Jags are the 10th best team in the league when it comes to running the football, averaging 123 rushing yards per game. These are against really good run defenses, the Colts being one of the best run defenses in the league, and the Chargers, who have significantly improved their run defense and haven't allowed many teams to run the football on them. Chargers had a lot of injuries, so you got to take a little bit of it with a grain of salt, but to still come out and beat one of the best teams in the league right now in the Chargers and one of the true contenders in the AFC West like they did, I got to keep them at number 5. At number 4, dropping 2 spots from last week, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs still look incredible. They did lose to the Colts, but it's not purely based on the personnel. It's just sloppy football and coaching decisions. They missed 2 field goals and a PAT. They go for a fake field goal and don't convert on 4th down. They also didn't have a run game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 7 rushes for a total of 0 yards. They get a touchdown on the goal line, but that is just absolutely terrible. You can't be putting up numbers like that when you're running the football. Patrick Mahomes, not a bad game, but not a great game. Did throw the game-winning interception at the end there. But like I said, it's not all Patrick Mahomes' fault in the personnel. It's just sloppy football. The Chiefs are still one of the best teams in the league right now, and it's hard to rank a lot of teams over the Chiefs. But when you play football like you're playing it in kindergarten, you're going to drop a few spots. And so all you got to do is just clean up special teams play, get the run game more involved, and you're going to do just fine. At number 3, I got the Eagles, not moving a single spot from last week. The Eagles are bowl contenders right now. Hurts is the 3rd best quarterback in the league when it comes to passing yards. Hurts and that offense look near unstoppable. Devonta Smith is becoming a problem along with A.J. Brown, who was already a problem. Their run game is incredible. They're one of the better run offenses in the league. The Eagles just look almost unstoppable. At number 2 and number 1, we're going to rank them at the same time here. I think that both of these teams are swappable going into week 4. You could put the number 2 team at the number 1 team, and you could put the number 1 team at the number 2 team. It was really hard to rank these 2 teams, but I got the Bills at number 2, and I got the Dolphins at number 1. The Dolphins look like the better team going into week 4 than the Bills do. Bills being at number 2. Let's talk about the good points here. Obviously, they are still the 3rd best in the league when it comes to total points scored. The best passing offense in the league by a long shot, and it's not even close. Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the league when it comes to total passing yards. You can't be throwing for 63 attempts and not win that football game. It's unacceptable. Now, yes, I get they had a lot of unfortunate injuries going into this game. Obviously, Micah Hyde being out for the rest of the season. Jordan Poyer not playing. And then mid-game, too, a lot of people cramping up from heat exhaustion. It's still unacceptable that you lose this game. You can't let the Dolphins win this game when you were that close to winning. And what it comes down to is too many passing attempts from Josh Allen, and you need to get the run game more involved, which the run game was lacking against this Dolphins defense. And clock management. I mean, you pulled a Cowboys special. I get you're all tired, very close to field goal range. O-line doesn't hold up. You check down to Isaiah McKenzie in the middle of the field instead of just throwing the ball away. You don't have enough time to clock it. It's a defensive problem. You know, Tua shouldn't have been able to ball out like he did, especially coming back into the game after being cleared of concussion protocol. He was cleared of concussion protocol, but it ended up actually just being a back injury. Can't let him ball out like he does. Can't let their playmakers get as open as they are. And then at number 1, talk about the Dolphins here. Dolphins, top 10 offense in the league in passing yards and yards per game. Tua is the 2nd best quarterback in the league in passing yards. And, like, offensively, they played great. But I think the big takeaway here in this Bills game was the Dolphins defense. Josh Allen maybe should have had 2 or 3 interceptions, but a lot of the guys dropped interceptions. That secondary towards the end of the game was giving Josh Allen a very, very rough time. Wasn't letting him convert on any 3rd or 4th downs. And then, obviously, that pass rush was incredible from the Dolphins, with Melvin Ingram getting 2 sacks, getting 4 total team sacks, and then 4 total fumbles. Unbelievable defense, especially against the Bills. Very good feat for them. The fact that their defense played as good as it did is very important for the Dolphins, because now it shows that the Dolphins are a real threat in the NFL and one of the better teams in the league. And there you have it. That is my top 10 list for power rankings going into week 4. I do this every week on Tuesdays. If you like the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this coming into the future. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.